It was 2:47 a.m. on Route 89 when the headlights caught something that shouldn't exist. Legs bent backward, skin raw and shifting like fabric in wind, and eyes that glowed without reflecting a light. A voice crawled through the air, not from the creature but inside his head, whispering his deepest fear. This isn't folklore. This is real. This is what happens when the road remembers your name. Stay till the end, because once you've heard its whisper, it might find you, too. It was 2:47 a.m. on Route 89 when the desert went still. David Miller, a long-haul courier with more miles than memories left in him, pressed the gas a little harder. The road stretched like a scar through nowhere, his truck the only pulse of life cutting through that endless black. He hadn't spoken to anyone in hours, just the hum of the tires and the faint static of the CB radio. Then, the static shifted. It wasn't music. It wasn't a station. It was a voice. A woman's voice, soft and tired, whispering. His name. David. He almost swerved. It sounded like his mother, except she'd been dead 3 years. His fingers tightened on the wheel, knuckles pale in the dashboard glow. He changed the channel. Static again. Another channel. Dead air. He pulled out his phone. No signal. Just a single notification that shouldn't have been there. Unknown caller, 2:47 a.m. He didn't answer. He didn't even breathe for a moment. The desert has a way of holding secrets. Out there, miles away from a single porch light, a man begins to doubt the shape of his own shadow. Then came the second sign. The mile marker read 114. He blinked, focused on the road ahead. 10 minutes later, the same sign, mile. 114. The coffee in his cup tasted like copper. The air outside had gone cold, a sudden shiver that raised every hair on his arm. He glanced in the rear view. The horizon seemed to fold, like the darkness was leaning forward. Something moved just beyond the cone of his headlights, too tall, too thin, running alongside the truck without breaking a stride. He hit the brakes. There was nothing, just sand, scrub, and the hum of power lines that shouldn't have been humming at all. David told himself he was tired. That's what the mind does at 3 a.m. It tricks you. But the desert has its own tricks, and some of them are old. If that whisper made your heart jump, wait until you hear what's really waiting on this road. Comment what you would. To if your mother's voice came through the radio tonight, and keep watching. This is only the first mile. David drove on. His hands were slick on the steering wheel, and every mile felt like it was folding in on itself. Knew this road. He had driven it 100 times. But tonight, it felt like the desert was driving him. The voice came back. Not through the radio this time. It came from the passenger seat. David, you left the door open. He turned an empty seat and no coat, no shadow, just the faint smell of wet earth. The same smell his childhood porch had after a thunderstorm. He almost laughed, but his breath caught instead, because laughing meant this was still normal, and nothing about this was normal anymore. A figure appeared ahead, bent knees, 2 long arms. It didn't walk, it unfolded onto the road like it was part of the asphalt. David flashed his high beams. The thing didn't flinch, its head tilted, its jaw stretched, not to scream, not to snarl, but to smile. A smile he remembered, because it was his. He swerved, the truck skidding across the empty highway. Mirrors rattled, cargo shifted, his heart slammed against his ribs. When he looked again, the figure was gone. Only the road remained, silent, endless, familiar, and wrong. If you're still watching, his voice cracked as if the road could hear him. Subscribe because I'm telling this before it takes the eye. Rest of me. The phone lit up again. Unknown caller, 3:11 a.m. A text this time. Come back, we're still waiting. The message wasn't from any number he knew, but the wording. His father used to say that exact line whenever David came home late from school. His father had been dead 12 years. He pulled over. Desert air, pressed against the cab. Silence stretched. No wind, no coyotes, no sound but the tick of the cooling engine. "I'm not afraid of you," he whispered, but his hands wouldn't stop shaking. The road behind him had vanished. Not in the way a road disappears in the night, but in the way a memory erases itself. When David looked in the mirror, all he saw was black. No lights, no stars, no proof the world existed before this mile. He stepped out of the truck. Gravel crunched beneath his boots, except there was no gravel here, only dust, dry, dead, and ancient. The air pressed heavy on his skin like the desert was breathing on him. Then it spoke again. "David, we never left." A figure emerged from the dark. It moved like static, twitching in and out of shape, every flicker revealing a face he had buried. His mother, his father, his brother, all stitched together like a memory forced into flesh. And then finally its own face. Pale, hollow-eyed, its jaw too wide, its fingers too long. The desert had worn it like a mask for centuries. SkinWalker. The word left his mouth before he meant to say it. It smiled, his smile again. "Do you know what happens when you answer the call, David? You come home, not theirs, ours." He stumbled back, heart hammering. "What do you want from me?" It tilted its head the same way he did in his childhood photos. "We want what you left behind. Your voice, your name, your road." The truck engine roared on its own. The headlights turned toward him, and behind the wheel sat David, or something that wore him. The real David stood frozen, skin prickling, throat dry. He watched his own reflection smile, wave, and drive off. The taillights faded into the horizon. Now the road was silent again. Only the SkinWalker remained. It leaned in, its breath cold. "Tell them, David. Tell them we're real. Or we'll keep driving your life without you." If you're watching this, comment what you would do if you saw your own face driving away tonight. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because there are roads like this all across America. Somewhere between your last turn and your next one, something might already be calling your name.